Why would you give up your goal now?
My goal was always a box at the Academy.
At the Met, you'll be a founding member, and you can reign supreme. You don't need to be in Mrs. Astor's shadow.
You make a good case.
It's your case. I'm just repeating it.
Season 4 of The Gilded Age is almost here, and things are about to get ugly. Betrayal, secrets, romance, and revenge are going to explode in the most dramatic season yet. And yes, the mystery behind who shot George Russell is finally going to be revealed. But that's not even the most shocking part. A new trailer just dropped, and if you thought Season 3 was wild, you haven't seen anything yet. Bertha's carefully built empire is on the verge of collapse, Marian and Larry's wedding plans might turn into heartbreak, and George Russell, who we thought was the most loyal husband in New York, might be planning something no one saw coming. So let's break it all down, from the trailer clues and release date to shocking betrayals, romantic twists, and the one mystery that could change the entire future of New York's elite. Season 3 ended with Bertha Russell riding high in society. Her daughter married into royalty, her opera war finally won, and her name officially secured among New York's elite. But in one brutal moment, everything shifted. George, her husband, her rock, her partner in ambition, made it very clear that he's not sure he loves her anymore. And if the new trailer is any indication, that tension isn't going away. In fact, it's about to explode. After years of standing by Bertha's side, sacrificing his own peace for her ambition, George is now questioning everything, especially her decision to use their daughter as a pawn in her social chess game. What once looked like the strongest marriage in the show now feels like a ticking time bomb. And here's where things get even more intense. Rumors suggest that George might not just emotionally check out of the marriage. He might actually betray her in the worst way possible. According to trailer clues and insider leaks, George could soon find himself drawn to someone very unexpected. Someone who has always wanted to see Bertha fall. And yes, we're talking about Mrs. Winterton. It sounds unthinkable, but it makes sense when you really look at the path George has been on. He's been feeling powerless, attacked, and disrespected by the woman he's built an empire with. And Mrs. Winterton? She's sneaky, manipulative, and desperate to claw her way into the same spotlight Bertha occupies. She knows George is vulnerable right now, and she's not above using that to her advantage. The trailer gives us a few quick flashes of them together. Too close, too familiar. It might start as a strategic alliance, especially since Oscar has already thrown his support behind her, but don't be surprised if it becomes something more. And if George does cross that line, if he chooses someone like Mrs. Winterton over Bertha, even temporarily, it won't just break Bertha's heart, it'll destroy her status, because without George backing her, her position in society becomes extremely fragile. This season, Bertha's biggest battle may not be against another society queen, it may be against her own husband. And based on the tension in the trailer, I'm not sure she's going to win. We even hear Bertha whisper one chilling line. He was mine, until he wasn't. That alone is enough to send shivers down your spine, because if Bertha Russell is backed into a corner, she's not the kind of woman to fall apart. She's the kind of woman who fights back, hard. So expect betrayal, heartbreak, and maybe even revenge, all wrapped into one of the most intense storylines the show has ever given us. And that's just the beginning. Chung, Section 2. Who shot George Russell? The deadly mystery that will shake Season 4. While the cracks in George and Bertha's marriage are dramatic enough, there's a much darker cloud hanging over Season 4, and that's the mystery surrounding who tried to kill George Russell. If you remember, last season ended with a shocking assassination attempt. George was shot at close range by an unknown assailant, in broad daylight, in front of key witnesses. The scene was chaotic, bloody, and terrifying. But what made it even worse was the fact that no one has been held accountable. The shooter disappeared without a trace, leaving George and the entire Russell family in fear and suspicion. And now, Season 4 promises to dive deep into this whodunit. Every character is a suspect. Every motive is under the microscope. And if the trailer is any indication, George won't stop until he finds out who wanted him dead, even if the truth shatters his entire world. The trailer flashes to George, angrier and more obsessive than we've ever seen him, digging through documents, interrogating allies, and even going behind Bertha's back. He's not just fighting for answers, he's fighting for control. Because deep down, he knows this wasn't just a random act of violence. This was personal. The question is, who hates George Russell enough to kill him? Was it a business rival, threatened by his railroad empire? Was it someone from inside his own company, angry about the reckless financial decisions he made in Season 3? Or, and here's where things get chilling, could it have been someone close to the Russell family? A social enemy who wanted to knock the entire family off their pedestal? The theories are wild, and some of them might not be far off. Especially with the return of some forgotten faces. Season 4 will bring back characters we haven't seen in a while. People with unfinished business, hidden agendas, and grudges that go all the way back to Season 1. And George, for the first time, is not in control. His pride is hurt, his trust is shattered, and his paranoia is growing. One scene in the trailer shows him pulling away from Bertha entirely, telling her, "I don't know who I can trust anymore. Maybe no one." That moment says everything. Because this isn't just about solving a crime, it's about survival. George doesn't know if the people around him want to protect him or destroy him. And if he makes the wrong move, it could cost him his life. Or worse, his legacy. But here's what really has fans talking. A split-second scene in the trailer shows a shadowy figure burning what looks like evidence, clothing stained with blood, hidden letters, financial records. Could this be the shooter? Or someone helping them cover it up? And why now? Why reveal clues when the trail is supposed to be cold? Unless the shooter wants to be found, or wants George to think he's close, just to mess with him. That level of psychological warfare would explain George's spiraling behavior throughout the trailer. And remember, this is a man who has everything to lose: his business, his reputation, and his family. The hunt for the shooter isn't just a plot line. It's the thread that connects every major story this season. Because once that mystery unravels, it could take everyone down with it. While chaos swirls around the Russells, one storyline has offered a rare moment of peace and hope: Marian and Larry's slow-burning romance. After seasons of tension, missed signals, and outside interference, the two finally found their way back to each other in the Season 3 finale. And now, heading into Season 4, the trailer confirms what fans have been waiting for: a wedding is coming. But before you get too comfortable, let's be clear. This isn't going to be a smooth walk down the aisle. In true Gilded Age fashion, the romance we love is about to be tested like never before. Because while Marian and Larry may finally be in sync, the world around them is falling apart, and their wedding might just become ground zero for even more scandal, manipulation, and heartbreak. The trailer opens with the couple sharing an intimate moment, smiling, laughing, hopeful. But that feeling doesn't last long. We see Bertha and Agnes arguing behind closed doors, Agnes accusing Bertha of trying to buy Marian's loyalty. That scene alone hints at the complex tug-of-war we'll see throughout the season. Marian, caught between two powerful women, one her aunt, one her soon-to-be mother-in-law, is walking a political tightrope. And Bertha, smart as always, knows this wedding isn't just about love. It's an opportunity, a chance to repair her image, solidify alliances, and prove to society that the Russell name is still powerful and respectable. But here's the twist. Marian doesn't want to be used as a pawn, and as she begins to realize how much pressure is being placed on her, the cracks begin to show. There's also a growing sense that Larry is not being completely honest. In one tense moment from the trailer, Marian confronts him with a question that stops him cold. "What else are you hiding from me?" We don't get the answer, but his silence speaks volumes. Could Larry be keeping secrets about his family's financial situation? Is he being pulled into his father's dangerous business dealings without realizing it? Or worse, is someone manipulating him from the shadows? It wouldn't be the first time that a love story in the Gilded Age was torn apart by ambition and betrayal, and with everyone from Oscar to Mrs. Winterton circling the wedding like vultures, it's clear this isn't just about two people getting married. This is a power play with massive consequences. Meanwhile, the trailer hints at unexpected resistance from Larry himself. While he loves Marian, he's starting to realize just how different their worlds truly are. She values honesty, simplicity, and moral clarity. He's grown up in a world where power is everything. That difference might become too big to ignore. In one haunting line, Larry says, "What if love isn't enough?" And that right there sets the tone for their arc this season. Because while we want to believe in their love, this is the Gilded Age, and nothing is ever simple. The wedding may be planned for the season finale, but the road to get there is going to be long, painful, and full of surprises. So yes, on the surface, Marian and Larry might be the season's romantic center. But don't expect a fairy tale. Expect a war between duty and desire, tradition and rebellion, loyalty and self-respect. And if they do make it to the altar, it won't be because the world made it easy. It'll be because they fought for each other harder than anyone expected. Amid the whirlwind of betrayal, politics, and social warfare, one love story gave fans a much-needed moment of light. Peggy and Dr. William Kirkland. Their romance was a quiet spark in Season 3, building slowly, tenderly, and with the kind of emotional depth that's rare in the cutthroat world of the Gilded Age. And just when we thought Peggy might never catch a break after all the trauma she endured, William finally proposed, publicly, proudly, and right in front of Black Newport society and his overbearing mother. It was a moment of victory for Peggy, a woman who has fought against injustice, grief, and isolation with grace and strength. But as the trailer for Season 4 makes painfully clear, that happy ending is just the beginning of another brutal fight, one that threatens to tear this couple apart before they ever reach the altar. From the first moments we see Peggy and William in the new footage, there's an undeniable shift in the energy. The joy is still there, but it's muted, tense. William's mother, who made no effort to hide her disapproval in the finale, is now stepping up her efforts to sabotage the engagement. The trailer shows her whispering in William's ear, confronting Peggy in public, and even threatening to cut her son off entirely if he goes through with the marriage. And unfortunately, William, who has always been calm and rational, is starting to bend under the pressure. There's one moment in the trailer where he snaps at Peggy, something we've never seen before, and it stings. He says, "You don't know what she's capable of." And suddenly, it becomes clear. This isn't just a disapproving mother-in-law. This is a war of control, image, and fear. Peggy, for her part, isn't backing down. She's been through too much to let anyone dictate her future now. But the emotional cost is rising. She begins to question whether this relationship is worth fighting for if it means constantly having to prove her worth. To William's mother, to society, even to William himself. The trailer shows her confiding in her father, who reminds her that love isn't supposed to feel like a battlefield. But in the Gilded Age, nothing comes without a price. Especially love. And as the wedding date looms closer, Peggy starts receiving mysterious letters, warnings, threats, and veiled insults, all meant to shake her confidence. Is it William's mother behind them? Or someone else from her past trying to drag her back into the shadows? And then there's the bigger question no one is asking yet. What happens if Peggy does marry William, and it all falls apart? Will she be trapped in another life that isn't hers? Forced to live under the expectations of a family that never wanted her there? The strength that makes Peggy such a powerful character is also what puts her at risk. Her refusal to bend, to play the game, to sacrifice her identity for love. And while that's exactly what makes us root for her, it's also what puts her in danger. Emotional, social, and maybe even physical danger. This storyline is going to push Peggy to her limits. It's going to test William in ways he never expected. And ultimately, it's going to ask one of the season's most important questions. Can love survive when everything around it is built to destroy it? We want a happy ending for these too, but if the Gilded Age has taught us anything, it's that happy endings don't come easy. Not when power, race, and legacy are at stake. Now that we've uncovered the betrayals, the romance, and the deadly mysteries, it's time to talk about what every fan wants to know. When is Season 4 of The Gilded Age coming? And what exactly does the trailer reveal about how it all ends? First, let's talk release date. While HBO has not confirmed an exact day, all signs point to a September 2026 premiere. And if we look at the show's previous release pattern, Season 1 in January 2022, Season 2 in October 2023, and Season 3 in June 2025, it's clear the creators are keeping a relatively steady rhythm, which means the wait won't be endless. In fact, filming reportedly wrapped earlier this summer, and post-production is well underway, so we're not just speculating. Season 4 is real, it's done, and it's coming soon. And with that brand new trailer now making waves online, fans have every reason to believe this will be the show's most explosive and emotionally charged season yet. The trailer is packed with tension, foreshadowing, and blink and you'll miss it clues. We see Bertha standing alone in a ballroom, looking more vulnerable than ever. We see George staring into a mirror, his expression hard and unreadable. We see Oscar shaking hands with Mrs. Winterton, confirming the alliance no one wanted to see, and Agnes slamming her cane down in rage, possibly confronting Bertha, or maybe defending Marian. But the final moments of the trailer are what truly send chills down your spine. A voice, distorted and unfamiliar, whispers, "Everything ends exactly how it was meant to." And then we see it, a flash of Lady Liberty, then a shot of the Russell estate in flames. It's quick, maybe symbolic, maybe real, but either way, it sets the tone. Season 4 isn't just about relationships and revenge. It's about legacy, about who rises and who falls as New York itself begins to change forever. And make no mistake, this season will mark a final turning point for many of these characters. George and Bertha's marriage will either collapse for good or be reforged in the fire. Marian and Larry's wedding will either unify the family or expose deeper divisions. Peggy and William will either overcome the weight of expectation or become victims of it. Oscar's deal with Mrs. Winterton could upend the entire social order, especially if she becomes the new woman in George's life. Because if that rumor turns out to be true, and Mrs. Winterton is, in fact, the one George turns to after everything, that's not just a betrayal. That's war. Between Bertha and the woman who's been circling her throne since Season 2. And Bertha doesn't lose, not without taking everyone down with her. There's also the lingering threat of the shooter. That mystery isn't just a subplot, it's the key to everything. The showrunners have hinted that solving the mystery will unravel secrets about George's past, his enemies, and even members of his own household. Could someone on the inside be responsible? Could this be the final blow that breaks the Russell family completely? Or will the truth give George a reason to fight again, not just for his business or his life, but for Bertha? For their family. Season 4 is promising a mix of resolution and revelation. And judging by the way the trailer weaves each storyline together, romance, politics, violence, and power, there's no doubt this season will be bigger, bolder, and far more devastating than anything that's come before. So mark your calendars for fall 2026. Because this is the season where every mask drops, every secret comes out, and every character must face who they really are. The Gilded Age is no longer just about who gets invited to the ball, it's about who survives it. And if the trailer is telling the truth, many won't.